to call the Marv Show. Now, no matter how complicated or involved the game of basketball can seem at times, the relatively simple task of putting the ball in the basket remains at the game's core. And in this latest episode, we'll spotlight one of today's most explosive players while also looking back at perhaps the most prolific scorer of all time. The Los Angeles Lakers' Kobe Bryant may not have been born to play in the NBA, but he certainly had the pedigree. The son of Joe Jellybean Bryant, an 8-year veteran of the league, Kobe has been in and around the NBA and the game of basketball for longer than he can remember. How has the game become different for you now from a mental aspect as opposed to when you first broke in?
Well, the game it seems to slow down a little bit. You know, the more years you're in the league. You know, when I first came in the league, I just wanted to run as fast as I can, jump as high as I could.
Wow, did you see the move by the kid? That's Kobe. Goodness! Unbelievable!
The game's just moving a million miles per second.
That's some move. A glimpse from Kobe Bryant.
Your dad, Joe Bryant, played in the NBA. What do you remember most about your days hanging around?
Welcome to San Diego. I'm Brent Musburger.
I was actually there, Magic's first game in the NBA.
Ordinarily, on the eve of his very first game, I would not impose upon any rookie in all of professional sports to talk to you.
My dad tells me a story of actually meeting Magic Johnson when I was 3, shoot around. Kareem was there as well, and you know they played with me and talked with my father.
But I want you to know that this man has a smile that lights up a television screen from here to Bangor, Maine. His name is Magic Johnson.
Then of course they had that beautiful scene where Kareem hits the sky hook.
Sky hook up and good. Lakers win. Score it.
It's kind of the start of the new dynasty. I was there.
You don't remember?
All 3 years older than me.
Right. You were told about it.
I was told about it. Yeah. Still excited.
And Magic Johnson is out there celebrating like they just won the NCAA championship.
Kobe, I know you spent 8 years in Italy because your dad was playing overseas. How did you follow basketball there, aside from watching your father?
My grandfather used to go to the video store and pick up all of these NBA home videos. Superstars to Golden Grades to Always Showtime to Come Fly With Me.
Bulls can go up 14. Jordan past Petrovic.
After I used to watch them, I used to go right out in the backyard and I used to play. I used to go down to the playground and play and try to mimic those moves. And that's where I learned a lot about some of the players who came before the people that my generation grew up watching. So when I first came in the league, they had the 50th anniversary of the NBA All-Star game in Cleveland. I mean, I was like a kid in a candy store. I mean, you walk in the back there, and I see Oscar Robertson, I see Jerry West, I see Bob Pettit, I see Michael Jordan, and the list just goes on and on. Russell.
This is my idol right here. He got 11 right here. 11 championships. He got the most rings. I was trying to come up back here, Larry. And then my other idol, Larry Bird. See, I tried to get as many as him. I couldn't get there. And then I was fighting this man.
It was a noble effort, though.
Yeah, noble effort.
What's the most interesting thing that one of these former All-Stars has ever said to you?
Jerry West, to me, is a mentor to me. Almost like a father figure. Because he really took care of me when I first came into the NBA. And from the age of 17 until now, we have a great relationship. And he always talked to me about, stepping up to the plate, not to be afraid to lose, but going in there determined to win.
Stolen by Parker. Oh, here it is. Here comes George to Kobe Bryant. Bryant inside. It's good. It's good. Tie game.
And that's certainly held true because when it comes down to final second shots, you will take the chance.
6 and 1/10 second remaining in the overtime, and the Suns leading 98-97. Tip one by Walton, flicks it outside of Kobe, takes it to midcourt. Kobe.
Bryant for the win. Bang!
Kobe Bryant has hit a shot at the buzzer!
J-Dub used to say was, if the game on the line, it seems like the shot actually becomes easier, at the end of the game than it is in the first quarter.
Oh my goodness!
Kobe also recalled a chance meeting with Wilt Chamberlain when he was not yet 10 years old. Unaware that he was being introduced by his father to the most dominant player in the history of the NBA, Kobe was nearly speechless in the presence of. In December 2005, Kobe Bryant had single-handedly outscored the Mavericks after 3 quarters, 62-61. Yet when Kobe sat out the final quarter, fans and the media alike wondered if he had passed up a chance at history. But in a season that saw Kobe join the short list that includes Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, Elgin Baylor, and Rick Barry as the only men to ever average 35 points a game in the NBA, the Lakers superstar pulled out all the stops a month later and had a game for the ages.
In that layup line, I felt terrible.
Really?
Oh man, my knee was really sore, it was really stiff, and I felt like I was going to have to kind of, utilize my jump shot at the start of the game until my knee loosened up a little bit, if it did, and I was able to tiptoe to the basket a little bit, and then my knee loosened up, and I was able to get into a groove.
Kobe reverse layup to score.
I felt like if I could free myself up for a second and get a good look at the basket, it was going down.
Here's Kobe trying to move around Mo Pete, trying to put him up. Finally shoots, counted in the foul. You talked about him being in one of those zones. Yeah. He's definitely in it right now. It's now to Kobe. He pulls up to a 3. Yes! Kobe's got 44. Knocked away by Kobe. Great hustle by Kobe. He's going to score. And dunk, Lakers lead.
Well, that's 51 for number 8.
Were you aware of how fast the points were coming?
I was aware of it at one point in the timeout with Lamar. Usually when I'm going good, he'll challenge me to score 40 or 50 points. And tonight he challenged me to score 70.
Oh.
And that's when I looked up. Okay. That's when I realized kind of, these points are starting to pile up here.
67 points, a new career high, and 4 away from Elgin Baylor's Laker record. For 3 again, yes!
Well, there's 70.
70 points for Kobe. Everybody wants it to get into Kobe's hand. Kobe guarded by Mo Peterson. Kobe pump fake for 2. Kobe's got the Laker record.
72.
Listen to this crowd. Kobe Bryant, 28 for 46 from the field. This would be 18 for 20 from the line and an 81-point game. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed the second greatest scoring performance in NBA history.
Last season, you scored 2,832 points, the only 2 people in the history of the NBA to ever put up bigger numbers were Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan. Is it humbling to you to be in that select company?
It is, and I never, for one moment in my life, thought about having a season like that. It's one of those things that kind of just happened, and it feels great. It feels, I feel blessed to be able to be in that same type of company.
Do you think that you could have a 100-point night?
I don't see it happening. The rules of the game being what they are, it's extremely difficult for any player to score 100 points. You probably, if a player is to do it, he's going to get one crack at it. You score 80 points, chances are you're going to be seeing double and triple teams.
Now, after your experiences of last year with this prolific scoring games, how do you now view what Wilt Chamberlain was able to do? A 100-point game and that entire 62 season that he had when he averaged, it seems incredible now to think he averaged 50 points.
Yeah, and 25 rebounds. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Times were different. It was a different
game.
Yeah.
It was a different game still. 50 points, 25 rebounds. It's 50 points and 25 rebounds. It's a credit to what a physical specimen he was and how talented he was.
That game would be one of Kobe's final spectacular performances in his number 8 jersey. This season, he swapped it for number 24, which was a return to his roots, marking the same number that he wore as a freshman in high school. And it was reported that the change signified the start of the second half of his NBA career. Kobe looks back and then looks ahead when we continue. At times, it's difficult to think of Kobe Bryant as a 10-year veteran of the NBA. But it was back in 1996 when Jerry West took a chance and traded away Vlade Divac for the opportunity to draft the first guard to make the leap from high school to the pros. And ever since then, Bryant has been a lightning rod for attention both on and off the court. Kobe's public persona and his relationships with his coaches and teammates have been a source of fascination and intrigue for the media and fans alike. In January, you exchanged handshakes and a hug with Shaquille O'Neal, just prior to a tip against Miami. In 20 words or less, what happened between you and Shaq?
Well, we won 3 championships together, and had a great run.
This is it, fellas. You work all year long for it, man. Shaq the man, most dominant player in the world. Championship, it's ours.
But it comes a point in time where, not everything's going to work out with a perfect ending. And it didn't happen here. He went to Miami and had a great year in Miami.
The Miami Heat won the NBA championship for the first time in franchise history.
Could you have played another year with him, you think?
Yeah, I think I could have. We managed to be extremely successful in playing together here. It's all about sacrifice. That's how we were able to play together, as long as we have. That's how we were able to win 3 championships, because we both sacrificed for the betterment of the whole. But there comes a point in time we got to part ways.
Now, obviously, you also have a much different relationship with Phil Jackson in his second tenure as coach of the Lakers. Has that affected the way you see the game now?
The way I see the game has always come from Phil's teachings and Texas teachings and the coaching staff, because I grew up underneath them. When they came here, I was 21 years old, and I've learned the game from them at an early age.
Is it a better relationship?
Oh, our relationship is it's more open. I can call him anytime, and he can call me anytime, and we'll actually talk about things that have nothing to do with basketball. It's really a great relationship, and I'm very thankful for that. I always wanted to have a close relationship with him, because I've had a tremendous amount of respect for him. And the dynamics of the team are different, and he relies on me a lot more than he has in the past, and I think because of that, our relationship can be open and can be a tighter bond.
Total domination by the Suns in Game 7.
You gotta love it! You gotta love it!
And the Phoenix Suns head to the Western Conference semis.
Last season, the Lakers had the Phoenix Suns on the ropes, could not finish them off. Do you have reason to believe that the young players on your club are capable of coming of age this year?
Oh, sure. They worked extremely hard in summertime, so that when we get back to that position again, we'll be ready to close the series out. It's very the hardest game to win in a playoff series are closeout games, and it takes a great deal of experience and savvy to know how to do that. And I believe we learned a lot from last year's experience. And if we're fortunate enough to be in that position again, I'm sure that we'll take advantage of it.
Your turn, Mr. Bryant. What have you got for us this time, Kobe? 2 years? Oh!
If you want to be a hero, you've got to take hero shots.
Now, you have accomplished so much, both individually and as part of the Laker three-peat. How do you measure success today from a personal point of view?
Well, I mean, it's all about getting better. You know, as a team, it's all about getting better. You know, the end goal is to win a championship. But we know we can't get to that next level without taking a step at a time.
Now, Kobe, you came into the NBA when it was celebrating its 50th anniversary. What would you like the historians to say about you when the league celebrates 100 seasons of existence?
I like to be known as a player that overachieves.
He says, "You're not going to stop me. You can't even contain me."
That is where you do the comparisons with Jordan.
Working hard is something that I take a lot of pride in, and having fun about the game. And obviously, winning championships is something that every player wants to be remembered by, and I'm no different.
After a whirlwind season that saw him make headlines for his scoring exploits as well as his much-documented relationships with Shaquille O'Neal and Phil Jackson, Kobe seems to have found closure and is looking to add to his already impressive resume, one that features a scoring title, 8 All-Star appearances, and 3 NBA championships. If the Lakers do get back to the finals, there's a pretty good chance that Dick Bavetta will be one of the referees working the games. Bavetta has not missed an officiating assignment in more than 31 years. And as he approaches 2,200 consecutive games, Dick will be the center of attention when we get together again on our very next episode.
So I have found